Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Robbie's vlogs. And Robert had, pretty good training week. Bench, we got 5 reps on the training max. Well, which is okay. We just race training maxes. He is cutting, so again, not as worried about it. Squatting and benching though, he did good. He got 8 reps on the squat. Last one was a grinder. 7 reps on the deadlift on a 5+ week. So again, for cutting, we'll take it. And like I said, the cut is going pretty well. I've had people ask me on that with him, like, oh, how long is he going to cut? It's like not that long. We bulked for 2 years straight. He felt like he was getting a little bit of a belly. It's like it's starting to get a little bit bigger than I'd like after gaining 50 pounds. All right, so for Americans, like 50 pounds. For people who don't use freedom units, he's gained well over 20 kilos. Something in the range of 22, 23 kilos. Something like that. All right, so bench day, we do our plus set, then we do back off work. All right, 5x10 back off work, rows, and then I've got him doing floor presses now. Also, something that people are missing when they're looking at it, I had someone comment on the triceps. I'm like, well, he's doing band press downs. So he is doing other tricep work, plus all this pressing is closed grip. Now, the problem we have, again, with Robert is the long-term history of tendon and joint problems, which, again, dealing with some malabsorption issues with his GI tract, which is one reason he was a hard gainer. Okay, usually if someone's a hard gainer in a Western country, it's indicative of either something physiologically wrong. Oftentimes medications, former drug use affects it. Something physiologically wrong with their GI tract, like IBS, which actually makes it difficult because normally in Western countries, no one has any problems gaining 100 pounds of body fat, right? At all. It's not an issue. Everybody can do it. In fact, we're morbidly obese as a society. So it's not the problem of food availability. There's something going on with the person's appetite. His case, gut issues. But that also means that due to both being very underweight and some possible malabsorption issues, we do run into problems with recovery of tendons and joints. And when he was really starting out, our pain was far, far, far worse. Sometimes almost debilitating from some of the training. So it's taken us a long time to get him to this point to where generally we do fine with just a little bit here and there. We deload every 4th week, which last week was a deload. But yeah, the squatting went good. That was 155 kg, which is something in the range of 350 pounds for my Americans for 8 reps. I'll take it. Does back off work with the safety bar? One thing I want him to work on, though, and a lot of my guys do this, is that whole notice their elbow moving. Guys, when you're using the safety bar, you have to stop doing this. And I tell my guys this all the time, but they don't listen. Defeats the purpose of the safety bar. If you're gonna pull it down like that, you need to start with it down like that. Okay, you don't really want to push up or down on the handles. You're just gripping them. So that is a minor thing from coach here saying stop doing that. People do it on good mornings too. But then he does goblet squats. Get some goblet squats in, which he's using a plate at home. He doesn't have dumbbells at home, which is why we do some of the stuff a little bit different. So he's just using a plate, which will work for goblets. It works just fine for our purposes. And again, reinforcing the squat pattern with something that's easier on axial loading. Again, lets us get really deep. And I like goblet squats for my guys with long femurs like this. Because notice he is tall. He's like 6'1", 6'2". I think he's 6'2". So he's got those long femurs going on. Not the best leverages for squatting. And I really like the goblet squat as an assistance movement for guys in that situation. Find it to be very effective. Also, next week we may not be getting a vlog because he's going to go on a vacation. He's only going to have access to bands. He's just going to use bands all week. We'll count it as another deload and taking back into some heavy training. All right, we finish up with hanging leg raises, which you do most days, but I took the footage out on deadlift day because the video's, longer than we need it to be. Depends on the lifter how long I want to make the video, if there's more stuff going on with the footage they have. But we got all this important stuff in here. All right, overhead press, again, 60 kg, that's a plate per side. He got his 5 reps. And again, cutting. And notice again, the gut is coming down. And he was never fat by anyone's standards at this bulk, right? A lot of people are like, he's not fat at all. He's not. But he's not as lean as he'd like to be. So we're letting him do a cut for a little while. It's going to be a month or two. Gets down to his target weight, we're going to go back to making gains again. But if we can progress on these movements, we're going to. But notice the pressing is where we're seeing the most stalling, which again, he's already weaker at pressing, but it is the fact that he's losing weight. It's usually the first thing to go is pressing strength, usually bench press when we start cutting weight. So we do a plus set of overhead press, and we do 5x10 back off. He does more rowing, and in this case we're doing 1-arm dumbbell rows. And then he's going to do some plate front raises. And that's going to finish his overhead press day. And yes, that's sufficient. Of course, he is doing band press downs on those days, but it's more footage than we need for this, so he didn't send it over, and it's fine, as long as I know he's doing it. Deadlifting, though, we did great. So I've got his training max at 235 kg, which is above 500 pounds. All right, 85% of that is 200, which should be around 5 reps, if that's a true max. He got 7. He got 7 reps. That means his deadlift is just climbing. When I eventually take him back to some conjugate, he doesn't feel as workable for his current gym rotation situation. He has to train in 2 different gyms, and they are set on days a week. It's not optional for him. He doesn't get to pick. It has to do with going to school versus being at home on the weekends. So his home gym versus the other gym he has access to. So in that case, it makes it really difficult for us to program conjugate the way that we would like for now. So to keep it simpler with his school for this year, we're just sticking with this system for a bit. But I want people to remember Robert did build his base on conjugate. For those unaware, we ran it well over a year. But yeah, over to the deadlift. We're doing good here. Doing real good. So I think at this point it's fair to say his deadlift, he could probably rep 500 pounds now. Not saying for like 5 or anything, but he could do reps with it. So it puts us in a good situation. So back off work after our plus set, we do 10s. And I'm only having him do, I believe, 3x10 at the moment. And then he does either good mornings or hyperextensions, depending upon which gym he manages to get this done at. So at home, he does good mornings. If he's at the other gym, I'm having him mess with some hyperextensions. But I mean, I could always keep it at good mornings. It's just that he does better with access to a safety bar or a cambered bar for good mornings. He simply does because, again, shoulders get inflamed easy for him. And then, of course, he'll do some hanging leg raises afterwards, which, I didn't use. We got more than a long enough video here. So we finish up with the deadlifts, and then he does some safety bar good mornings this week. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.